The Honeybee That Built Its Own Room, Part 1. Buzz, 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 buzz. No, that is not the doorbell. I wish it were something as simple. If it were a doorbell, it would eventually stop, right? It would stop and let me have some peace. No, it's something else, unstoppable, maddening, agonizing. It's the sound my brothers and cousins make day in and day out, every waking moment, constantly flitting their wings up and down. They just don't know when to stop. Wait a moment. I know what you are thinking. It must stop when they are asleep. And to that I say, oh, you innocent, simple-minded child. How relaxing it must be in that head of yours. There is no stopping them. If one's sleeping, there's two more carelessly buzzing about. You know what I must do to steal a few glorious moments of silence? Volunteer for guard duty, so that I can leave the hive and give my addled mind some rest. And I hate leaving the hive. I was not born to leave the hive. It's a scary world out there. It's big. It's bright. It's never ending. It's not good for my agoraphobia. Self-diagnosed, of course, but it is much less noisy than my hive. So, today, I must choose once more, between my fear and my fragile sanity. Maybe I will volunteer for a far-off location today. Find a quiet, closed-off place to get a full night's sleep instead of the stolen naps. It's not like anyone approaches the hive or us bees voluntarily. The large animals are afraid of us, which I find mildly amusing. I steel myself for what I might face outside the safety of my cell and pop my head out, only to be greeted by the dreaded buzz of my neighbor. "Hello, Gary," I say in a monotone. "Hello to you too, Gary," he replies excitedly. "Did you have a nice rest?" He knows I did not, and he insists on calling me by the wrong name. Every time. He is not a nice neighbor. "You know it is not Gary. You know it is not Gary. Gary," I say, accompanied by a forceful buzz of my wings. "It is Gary, with two E's. If you have ever been eye-rolled at, I ask for your sympathy in this moment. If being rolled at by two eyes was irritating, imagine my plight. Eye-rolled by a bee with five eyes. And it's not just neighbor, Gary. Upper Gary, across Gary, Colonel, Gary, and even Grandpa, Gary. All of them insist on calling me Gary too and roll their eyes at me, as if their constant buzzing was not enough to annoy me. The best I can do is ignore them, which I do with Gary and make my way to Commander Gary's meeting room. "So, Gary," his wings buzz a tad quicker, a spring in his steps as he floats up to my side and starts walking with me. "Finally going to do some real work today?" Gary asks in a louder than usual voice. When I do not reply, he hops forward and turns to face me with a sly twist of his mandibles. He leans in and lowers his voice. "Are you going to volunteer for another round of sleep? I mean, guard duty like always?" I freeze in my steps for a moment. My wings stop buzzing. The smirk on Gary's face tells it all. He knows. But how? It did not matter. He knew, and that's that. I must think fast on how to handle this pesky bee. I shall be prudent about this. I ignore him and speed away. I watch with some measure of satisfaction as Gary's head droops. However, it does complicate my plans to catch up with my beauty sleep today. I will have to wait a while until my escapades slip out of his tiny brain. Maybe, just maybe, I will volunteer for some indoors work today. To throw him off. Yes, it is decided, I mumble to myself as I enter the large meeting room. I lose myself amongst the Garys before neighbor Gary could catch up. Up ahead, Commander Gary stands on a raised pedestal, handing out assignments as each bee approaches him. He is a no-nonsense kind of bee. They say his wings never stop buzzing. They never change frequency. No matter if he is standing still or flying around. Not even in his sleep. He never smiles, and he is never angry. When he is in the room, he will not tolerate irregularity. Neighbor Gary should stay in check for now, thankfully. I patiently wait for my turn in the queue. As I approach him, I hold myself steady and straight, wings buzzing in perfect rhythm with his. "Commander Gary," I say with a salute, which was probably foolish of me, seeing as saluting with your legs might be considered rude in some circles. I really need a good long sleep so that my mind does not decide to act upon these crazy instincts. Commander Gary looks at me until a flash of recognition passes over his face. His mandibles form a tenuous smile, as if being forced to do something they are not built for. They shake with effort as he tries to force the smile to stay. It is not a welcome sight. Commander Gary is not supposed to smile. "Ah, Gary," he manages before his mandibles jerk back to their default frowning position. Uh-oh. He never calls me by my name. No one does. A few bees behind me I hear a rapid buzz. Neighbor Gary, that sneaky bee, he must have told on me. I fear the worst now. They will kick me out of the hive for sure. Or even worse, they might keep me out of the hive for sure. Or even worse, they might keep me imprisoned inside. Forever. I draw upon what little courage I can muster and speak up before Commander Gary could say anything. Yes, Gary with two E's. That is me. I am ready for some worker duty today. Just point me in the direction and watch me go. Commander Gary's wings stop moving. A collective gasp echoes through the chamber. Gary, you don't need to sully yourself with mere worker responsibilities, he says in his hoarse baritone. Not at all. Today, you get the best guard duty we have. His mandibles forced into another shaky smile for a moment before they collapse once more. Today, you guard at the very top of the tree, nothing to distract you, all alone underneath the open sky. The chamber starts spinning in front of my eyes as I lose consciousness. The oddity of a slight breeze brushing my wings wakes me up. My first thought is that someone must have left the hive door open. My second thought is that hives do not have doors. My third thought is that I have never slept in the hive. My fourth and fifth thoughts are delayed by the opening of my eyes and seeing the wrong color, a crisp blue instead of a waxy yellow, surrounding me but not enclosing me. I take a step forward only to tumble headlong. It takes a moment for my wings to realize the danger and start buzzing. Fully alert, I look around and see nothing but blue. And below, a small aerial carpet of leaves. Gary, I don't know which one, but one of the Garys brought me up here, in the vast openness. Nothing to hide under. Nothing to hide under. Nothing to hide inside. Nothing but clear open sky. I start oscillating up and down, trying to make up my mind. Should I go back to the hive and face Commander Gary's wrath for abandoning my post? Or should I stay here, try to keep my agoraphobia in check with my breathing exercises? It's not like anyone. Birds. A flock of birds fly overhead. Too many of them. Their red feathers contrasting against the sky. They don't come at me, but they are close enough to disorient me. I panic and hide under a nearby leaf. I should have run back to the hive. That was the one thing I am supposed to do in this situation. But my sleepless mind does not know better. One of the bird lands nearby, cocking its head side to side. It pecks at the leaf I am hiding under. I will sleep in the hive from today. I will never ever leave the hive again. Let them buzz till their wings give out. Let them call me Gary. I will never ever leave. The bird grabs me along with the leaf and tosses me upwards. I float away from the leaf. Frozen by the shock of it, I cannot even fly away. I look down towards the bird's open beak. An orange maw waiting for its prey. Everything slows down. I miss neighbor, Gary. At least he couldn't eat me, even if he wanted to. As the bird gets nearer and nearer, I close my eyes, surrendering to my impending doom. And then, a strong gust of wind arrives as my savior. Knocked away from my fated trajectory, the wind carries me away. I open my eyes to see the bird fading away in the distance, as the wind carries me to safety, and then it keeps going, farther and farther, until even the tree is nothing but a speck in the distance. I am thrown against a hard surface, the impact disorienting me as I fall and land on a soft flower. I hear a familiar yet different sound behind me. A buzz, not quite the same as the Garys. Well, look at what the wind brought in David. That is one strange bee, David, that's for sure. You think he wants to join our camp? From the author, Gareed chose to find a way around his duties for his comfort. But the consequences caught up to him in a rather abrupt fashion, now thrown in a completely new place, already noticed by strangers. Where do you think this goes for him?